What is something that you don't need, but you really should have? Because it's really cool. It is a kick sensor to open your trunk. Now, it's actually very practical, don't get me wrong, because have you ever come out to your car with hands full and you just need to drop something somewhere? Well, what's not full are your feet. And so what we're doing is we're modifying this Model 3 here today, or Anon's Model 3, to have it where when we kick underneath here, the trunk automatically opens. And when the trunk automatically opens, you no longer have your hands full of stuff because you could just throw them in the trunk. The first thing that we're gonna do is remove this panel. It's actually really easy. All you have to worry about is the wires that hang from it. And the wires I'm talking about are these. So you saw how he just took his little pry tool, pried it in here along the side and just pulled it down. That's basically all you gotta do. It's being held in by these. Now you also have this wire here, and this wire right here. If you have a Model 3 and Y, also depending on your build, it might vary. However, you only need to remove this wire because it goes to these from here. Once that's removed, we have more working room, which is what we need. So let's take a look at the parts that we have from Hand Show here. So taking a look at everything, it's a lot, but don't worry, we're gonna walk you through it, no problem. First off, we're gonna start with this splitter. This one right here is gonna go to your OEM trunk. If you look up in here, there's this. It's missing, it's unplugged because we already took it off. Come up in here. Oh, right, so this one has a clip. Be careful of that. You have to pull it out, and now
I can pull out.
You can easily pull out. Easily pull out. Next, you're gonna have this splitter. So it's gonna be two black ends, and basically this is going to split from the closing button. It's going to be the one right here. This is your control box. This is going to be what's controlling everything, so this is just something else to know. And while we have that there, let's talk about this. This little weird looking thing. This is gonna allow you to control your trunk kick sensor remotely, allowing you to disable it or reactivate it from a remote, which is it somewhere. We also have this CAN bus splitter right here, and this is gonna be useful because there is one wire that we have to run along here to the passenger side. It's actually this one right here, and plug this into our CAN bus to receive data, but it doesn't give us power. So we also need this wire, and this is going to give us power and, of course, ground to power this whole thing. The reason why we need to connect to the CAN bus is so we can read the car's status and have this only work when it's in park, because when you're driving, you don't want something flying under here and throwing your trunk open. We're gonna start with the absolute easiest thing to do, and that's going to be after removing this pin right here to put it in the splitter. So that's exactly what Anon's gonna do because he's the engineer here.
Yeah.
The yellow plug is gonna go into the existing one, and then you're just gonna take the other end, the one that looks like the one that came with the car, and push it in. All right, so after grabbing the adhesive pad, the one that comes with our Hand Show kit, we're just going to slap it on the back of this control box. From there, we're gonna pull the backing off and just smack that boy to your car.
There's a lot of space here.
So that's a perfect place up there. That's where we mounted ours. The kick sensor is gonna go down here. You can see Anon's already started pulling some of this off. It's just going to go through this grommet and out the bottom. Boom, loosening the zip ties so we have more working room, and also not just cutting them, because I don't think you'd wanna cut these. These seem like they're very well attached to the car.
It's replaceable, but hard to find.
Okay, yeah, so if you're gonna undo these, use a pick tool, get it in there, and then just kind of loosen it out. You're gonna want to do that because it'll give you so much working room. We've pulled this grommet off. We're also going to pull this grommet off. You can see it's already removed, and that's gonna give us easier access when we're fishing everything through inside of here. This orange magical wire, it's actually magical because without it, you probably wouldn't be able to do this. So what we need to do is pass this all along down here. The only thing you need to be careful about is this rubber is pretty fragile. The ends are metal. You don't want to just shove it down, otherwise you might snag a wire or cut through the insulation. So slowly pull it down here, and actually Anon has something to help with it. It's WD-40 or lube, and you just need to lube all of this up, get it nice and juicy so you can just slide this down. Once you slide this all the way down, you can connect whatever wires that you need to have come through here and then pull them down. When you're passing the wires through, to make sure that it's not being pinched on any of these clips or anything, it's best to route them behind here. They'll go behind here, and you can see my hand coming out through here. All the wires can just go there, and they'll feed following this channel to this grommet, which will go down here to this other grommet, and then it'll come out through that hole. We can grab it and then work with it down here. So these wires are the one that you need to run through right here. It's gonna be the barrel plug looking one. It's going to be our positive, negative, and our CAN bus 12-pin adapter, 2-pin adapter. That's what you need to wire through. Just these ones. Gonna come out through here, and when Anand's finished putting it down, very gently, again, remember, do not rip the rubber. If you rip the rubber, bad things will happen. You can see he's got it all the way out. We're just gonna tape these wires to here and then pull it through. It's pretty thick, so patience is key when you're doing something like this. If you notice, this insulation is really, really small, and Anand actually has some aftermarket taillights. So he has these other wires running down, meaning there's like absolutely no space in here. So what he has to do with this connector, and what you might have to do, is depin it. And that's essentially just removing the pins from the plug. You don't wanna mix up the data lines, or especially if they're power, actually. You don't want any power lines mixed up. So Anand's gonna take a picture. Great practice right here. Good tips, pro tips by Anand, and then you're just gonna depin it. So I'll let him do his thing.
As of note, the one with the green stripe should go on the right.
Green stripe on the right.
Pull this one out. This one comes out first, and then there's a small tab here. So you just kind of like convince it to go in. Gently, don't break it. There.
Boom.
And shove this in your pocket so you don't lose it.
Top block is off.
And then there's this white thing, you just kind of lift it up slightly, gently, slightly.
If you have a buddy, it's easier to have them hold the end of the plug while you or someone else actually goes in and lifts up that plastic part, the white plastic. Check that out. And now you have the plug and you have the wires separated. So that should make it easier to run it through that grommet. The first thing that we're gonna do is use the barrel plug. So we're fishing it through this hole right here. We're pulling it out through here using Anand's little grabby tool. Make sure the wire comes out through the hole, goes through here. We're gonna fish the other one through here as well. And that way they can just easily go down in here, keeping your water resistant integrity intact. So remember, we're doing these one at a time. We can't fish both these cables in at the same time, mostly because Anand is just confusing himself right now. But this is really, really thin. It's really small. So we really can only do one of these at a time. So we're gonna fish one of these wires through. Anand's gonna pick his poison, which we're gonna do first. I think we should do the big one first. So here's a little strat. Anand came up with this idea. We're taking the big wire right here and we're going to fish it through. Now, once you finish the big wire through all the way down, you're actually gonna have even less room. That's why you're gonna want to do this big one first over the small one. And what's pro about this is that since this is already fished through, and look, there's already so much length, what we're going to do is use this, tape this on to this to fish this through. Big brain idea right here. Once she's fully secured, she's going in, boys.
And she's wet right now.
No.
So it'll make it easier. To put it in. This is kind of like a 3-person job, honestly. 1 person to hold the tube in place, 1 person to pull, and then 1 person up here to just kind of guide the wire in. Pro tip with the tape when you're fishing, at the end, leave a little flag, fold it over. That way it's super easy to find where that is and start pulling and untangling it.
As you're doing this for a while, it gets dry.
You gotta lube her up. So now is part 2. We're taking the tape and we're taking the wires, the ones that we depinned, the power and the ground, and we're putting it here. That way we can fish it through with the one we just fished through. After you do this for a while, as Anand says, it does get really dry. So you need to apply more. Come on, yep. As you can see, 1 person holding the grommet steady, 1 person is me pushing it from the top, and Anand's doing the heavy lifting, which is just pulling it from the bottom.
More lube.
There you go. Oh, nice. Okay, so good stuff by Anand.
Make sure to if you're stuck somewhere, just make sure to go in and out.
Yeah, that's actually it. You have to do that because gently, if it's not coming out from this way and you're pulling at it, it could be that the wires are just thick in a place. So pull it backwards just a little bit, gently, lightly. Once you do that, pull it forward again. If you pull it back and forth and you continuously lube it, you should be fine to completely pull it through.
Back and forth motion.
That's what I like. Nice. There you go.
You don't need more.
More?
Okay.
No, this cable takes lube out.
No, absorb, not take out.
We'll check this. We'll check this tube 9 months later. Okay.
Just keep going straight, one straight motion.
Chill.
Once you have a certain motion going, you should be good.
Everything we say is wrong. See?
Wait, hold on. This is like over it. All right, so that's the entire, all those wires just completely pulled through. We did it. Good job, guys. And now we're gonna put these clips back. So you might have gotten a little bit lube around the edges. If so, wipe it off. So this inner clip has 4 clips on each side. The rubber grommet has this little flap. That's going to need to go inside the plastic bit. The rubber grommet also has an interior part, and it needs to sit on this plastic groove before you clip it in. From there, once everything is set like that, and it does take some time, so have patience with it. Make sure it is sat where you want it to sit, because otherwise you're gonna have water issues. So seriously take your time with this. Boom, and it looks all good. The grommet is sat exactly where it needs to be. The wires are pushed through, and it snaps in just like that. So from the zip ties we removed earlier, it's time to reinstall them. So we're just going to put them back through the cable route that's on there, and then just clip it into the part that's on the body. All right, so the next steps. What is the next step? Well, what we need to do is put these cables into the cabin. We can't just leave them out here. They're gonna get cold. So what we need to do is push them in through there, hole right there, and then there is another hole. You can see where some wires are coming out over here. Push them through here. Now there's 2 sets of wires. Remember, the 2-pin and power, as well as the barrel jack. And so this barrel jack one is gonna go to our kick sensor. This right here, this whole set is gonna stay back here. We're gonna get to this in a second. We're going to use this one, and this one is going to route all along the inside of the cabin to the CAN bus on the passenger side. And I'll show you what the CAN bus is in a second. It's actually pretty cool. It's how your car feeds a lot of data around. You're gonna be tapping into that. Remember though, we did depin these. Now we need to repin them.
And remember, as a video earlier, green is on the right side. Click, and you will hear a click. If you don't hear a click,
it's not in all the way.
And you can try yank it back and see it does come out.
Awesome.
And if you want to double check, you can try to temporarily plug it in to see the wire matches up, green on this side, on that side.
Because it's key to only go in one way. Awesome. And don't forget that little yellow part from earlier, which Anon is digging around in his pants for. He's found it. Woo!
It was in my pants.
And that's gonna make sure that the connections are super secure sitting in that pin. Awesome. So now it's time to run it. So we're gonna use some fishing wire. This access hole is the best hole to go through as it is the biggest. It'll allow you to fit all the wires in here with less of a problem than if you were to go through like any of these smaller holes that are also available. But we're going through here. You can see the orange wire, not focusing, but all the way in the back. Oh, there you go. You can see it right there. Oh, and you can see our barrel plug being pulled through a little bit. So that's what Anon's doing. He's gonna be pushing both plugs separately or together. Oh, maybe you should use stronger tape, buddy.
Yeah, good idea.
So with stronger tape, you can actually get both plugs, connectors in at the same time, routing them down here. All right, so the last thing that we need to do, because we already did this one, is close this one up. You got to keep your car watertight, so you're essentially just going to push that grommet back into place. It takes a bit of patience, but eventually you'll get it to sit perfectly. You want to make sure that is tight and flush, because that's the only thing keeping water out. This looks pretty good. To try to keep everything in order, we are gonna close this top part because we don't have anything else that we need to do with it. This is gonna close up with this one. So these 2 cables attach together, and then this is gonna attach to the button, which is right here, which is currently missing at the moment because Anon decided to, just chuck the button because he didn't need it at the moment, but we'll find it, don't you worry. So if you ever did take your button off, these are just T20 screws screwed back in. This needs to connect with this coming from the trunk. So that's pretty much all it is. There is a connection here. So, and then there's this one. This one is the pass-through for the closed feature. So we need to connect these cables, and then that splitter is gonna go into here. So again, this is just a splitter right here, and that's for the closed feature. And then this other big one is gonna go to the one that's coming from the trunk. So once you have everything put together, this big clip mounts into this slot right here. That's important so you don't get it caught on any of those white clips. And white clips. Let's talk about the white clips. The white clips are the only thing securing this in. They are sturdy, so you don't have a problem with that. Start from this side right here. There's a few black clips coming out. You're just gonna want to align them with a couple of holes, and then the white clips will follow from there, and you can just pound it in. Next is to route the power, ground, and CAN bus pins. So this needs to go through the carpet here, and it's gonna come out through there. So put your passenger seat down, leave your trunk open, and remove this leather panel. All it is also being held in by clips. Start from the top and gently pull it out and up. So our clips, mine included, actually broke. So if yours do break, you can secure it back together with some zip ties. That's it. Zip ties do fix everything. You can see, just side note here, all of these external wires that Anon has because his car is just mad modded. He just zip tied them to the previous wires. So we fished the wire out. It's gonna go from the part where it is coming out of. It's gonna go through this right here. It doesn't have to necessarily. It can go through the carpet. I don't know if you can see that, but there is an opening over there. So you can go through here if you want, but you can also go through here. It's just preference. Anon prefers to go through here. I personally would just go through here. It's easier. Just to keep things nice and organized, Anon is adding more zip ties. I mean, eventually he's gonna have to cut these off and redo them, but he's adding more zip ties to this entire channel of wires, and that's going to be securing this trunk kick sensor down here. From there, we are going to wire it underneath this part right here, this black part. You don't really have to remove anything. All you have to do is just push the wire underneath the panel. They're all plastic panels held in by plastic clips. If you pull the seat up a little bit, it's just a notch. You can feel underneath there. You'll feel kind of like a little tab sticking out. You push it to the left, so that way into the car. You push it that way, and then you can just pull the seat up from there. That's the easiest way to put the wire underneath the plastic part. You're going to continue putting the wire underneath the plastic part, and you keep doing it till you get to the front. And even when you're in the front, actually, you're going to keep fishing it underneath here. It just goes under this plastic part. All right, now check this out. These wires are gonna go to the CAN bus part that's inside of here. So we need to first pop this out. You're gonna take your pry tool, stick it in the top, pull it like that, and then up and out. It's important you don't pull from the bottom because there is a tab that goes inside of here and you don't want to break that. Next, there's a little pin right here, and I'm just gonna pull that out. This one, it actually is a bit hard. I have trouble with it sometimes. So sometimes pushing the pin in a little bit and then pulling it out helps. Yeah, this one's a tough one. There you go. From there, we're gonna have to remove this side panel. You can kind of just pull it up and out towards the back of the car, and it'll come out just like that, the entire thing. From there, we can see a lot of wires. These are mostly aftermarket, so unless you have all the mods which Anon has, which you probably won't, you're not gonna have this entire mess of wires. This is the CAN bus terminal right here. This is the guy you wanna look for. Most of the time it's going to be empty unless you have something pre-existing being plugged into here. Now we are going to plug the door kick sensor into this. This is going to go to the CAN bus. Now you're like, oh man, there's already something in here. Well, there's a solution for that. In the kit, it comes with these, and this is great in case you want to mod your car even more. So you have a bunch of different splitters, so Anon doesn't have to worry about losing his door handles because this will go into here and this will go into here. And then this one end goes to the CAN bus right there. So there's two ways that you can finish off this install to get power. The first way is to use the included relay. You can see that there is an input and an output. Those two positive and negative wires, each one of them is going to go to the output side. But what about the input? Well, the input is going to come from this wiring harness that I have right here. It's got a fuse in it and everything. And so this, you can see the positive and negative down here, is going to go to the relay. Well, what about these other two clips? One's positive, one is negative. These are going to have to go through the firewall. I'll have a video of how to go through the firewall in the description below. They'll tap to the low voltage battery, and that's how you get your power from this relay. And the relay is only going to activate whenever the front kick sensor, so whenever you kick, requests power. So it's the only time it should power on, or if you use the remote. Anon is not going to use this though, as he doesn't need it. He doesn't care for the relay, he doesn't care for the remote function. So what he's going to do is use a T-tap. I'll throw a picture of that, what that is on screen, to tap into another wire that he's already run for his doors. And these doors are the ones that automatically come out. If you want your own, check out the links in the description. If you want to see a video on how to install these, because they are super cool, check out that in the description as well. You're also gonna have to remove your carpeting for this. So the T-tap is right here. It's behind this carpeting, which you kind of just peel back to get to. You can see other T-taps and stuff that Anon has, but that's the one that we're working with right now. And that's what it looks like. So that cable that's coming out, you're gonna want to tuck it underneath this plastic cable routing tray. Anon has it full of cables already. I mean, look at that. But there's still room underneath the carpet for it to go under. So you're just gonna push it underneath, no problem. And then that plastic clip that we removed before is just gonna sit on top of here and cover everything. Now we're putting the side panel lock on. So for the side panel, it's basically going to slide in. You're gonna wanna get that motion set first. Once that slides in up there, you can also make sure the part where the pin needs to go to is aligned. And once that's aligned, you can carefully put the clips back in where the clips need to go. It can help to remove this weather stripping off the channel. That's what we've done right here. So it's just coming off this groove. You just pull it up. Finishing it off by putting that clip in. And normally it'll snap into place, but Anon has so much wiring, it's kind of pushing up against it. But no worries, because this weather stripping is just gonna sit on top of it and completely seal it. From there, you're gonna put that last panel on top back in. You're gonna want to slide it down and then push it in. But make sure it goes behind the weather stripping. That's super important. Boom, look at that. Looks like a normal Tesla. Check out everything we got down here. Check out the Anchor battery. This is actually powering a lot of accessories. And if you need to charge something, you can just throw it on the external wires. Link in the description down below for that. But getting back to our install, there are a few clips that we're going to want to remove once you pull this piece off. To get this piece off, all you need to do is pull up and then towards the car. Pulling up releases these clips, and pulling towards the car is gonna release the clips that are stuck in here. Side note, just look at everything Anon has right here. It is wild, all the mods he has. Remember to check out the links in the description for your own mods. Now is we're gonna wire the barrel connector and the kick sensor. So that's going to sit inside of this tub area right here. That's why we had to remove the carpeting. This is the barrel plug for our trunk kick sensor. To exit the vehicle, you might have a grommet right here. Anon doesn't, because he already has something running, but you're gonna want to remove that, or you can pierce a hole through that and then wire this through there. And that's gonna get you to the exit side of the vehicle. Speaking of the exit side of the vehicle, check this out. There's an access panel that Tesla made. I don't know if this is the reason for it, but it's just two, not screws, because you don't unscrew them, but there's these two little tabs right here, and they look like this. And you're just gonna twist them, and then it just completely falls off. You gotta pry it a little bit because there's these clips as well, but it's pretty much it. And from there, you can see the wire coming through. Check that out. The hand show kit is gonna come with this template. That's gonna help you with mounting it, because you see these holes? That's where those screws are gonna go, and then you're gonna stick that on there, because trust me, you don't wanna believe that the adhesive is just gonna hold this up. Now is the customizable part. You can put it anywhere you want. We recommend putting it on one of the sides, because if you put it in the middle and you're loading stuff in, you might accidentally go under and kick it, which can cause the trunk to close. Yes, because this isn't just an opening one, this is an open and close one. So when you're done with the trunk, you don't have to push the button anymore. You can literally just wave your foot under and close it. Anon prefers it to be closer to the driver's side, because, you know, he is the driver, so you would assume that if he ever needs to get into his car or get out of his car and open the trunk, that's going to be the easiest side. Okay, so in this clip, we accidentally put it a little bit too far forward towards the car. You'll see in a little bit later that only the screws are going to be going into the car, which means that the actual sensor is going to be behind the plastic. So find the screw locations, and you're gonna have to take the screws out, make sure you can get the sensor underneath the plastic part on the inside, and then fit the screws into the holes of the sensor. Let me know if you have any questions. Sorry this wasn't displayed very well in the video. If I ever make a second video on this, I'll definitely have this shown. All right, we're gonna test to see if this works. So kick sensor is almost mounted, but we want to just make sure before we mount it. So connecting the two wires is gonna make it live. Make sure you have nothing in the pinching area of your trunk.
I hear it. They'll leave it there.
It works! Yay! Alright, so we saw Non do it, blah blah blah. Who cares about that? We want to see the skeleton shoes do it. So, we're about to hit it. Trunks open, ready to be closed. How do you close it? Well, only you know the secret location now. And you just wave your foot further this way. I don't know the secret location. Alright, let's see the secret location. It is... Oh, it's right here. Alright, with this in mind, now, let me try it. Ooh, if you know, you know. Literally. That's awesome. And then to open it, it's the same process. You just wave your little magical foot underneath. You gotta know the secret location. It takes some getting used to, because it's not my car. Whisha. Oh, I just wasn't doing it right. All right, so you don't need a... all you gotta do is just swipe it like a credit card, which is what you should bring to hand show. Links in the description below. Look at that. Okay, see, he knows how to do it. He's the pro. Okay, he's the pro at it. You know, you just got to get used to the location because you can't really see it from above here. But now it's time to route that wire back inside. So through the access panel, you're just going to pull it up and zip tie it. Bundle it together. Shove it over there. Do whatever you want with it. Then put the access panel back kind of the opposite way you took her off. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to put the carpet back. Remember, there's a clip on here that clips the carpet there. Looks like this, but on the other side. You have the trim piece that goes back here. You're just gonna slide it on and down. From there, you're just gonna pull the weather sealing up, and then you're gonna push it over that trim piece. Make sure the weather sealing is over the trim piece, not under it. And then you need to put the top part back on the same way you took it off. So that's pretty much it. You just close up everything, and you got an awesome trunk kick sensor.